So when we look and all I tell you is to simplify. So for 8.2, we're going to simplify, we're going to multiply, and then we're going to divide. Okay? If all I tell you is simplify and there's no operation, you're going to factor what you can and then simplify what you can. Okay? As in cross out whatever factors you see in the top and the bottom. Okay? So if I have x squared plus 7x over x squared, I cannot just mark through x squared. Okay? That's mathematically illegal because x squared plus 7x is one specific term in the numerator. It's a binomial. Okay? So what I can do, though, is take out a GCF in my numerator. I have an x squared and an x. So that means I can factor out an x, and that leaves me with x plus 7 all over x squared. Okay? Now remember your exponent properties. When you have an x and an x squared, you can subtract your exponents. Y'all remember that? You can think of it that way, or you can think I have an x up here, I have technically two x's down here, right? So I could cross out this one and then just knock off that 2 exponent because now I just have one left. Okay, because really what you're doing is you have x over x squared. So that's really 1 minus 2, which is x to the negative 1. Well, that would leave me with an x in the denominator, right? Because negative exponents go in the denominator. So you can think of it either way. I just see it as I'm going to cross out this x. This 2 goes away because it's a 1 now. Okay? So then I'm left with x plus 7 over x. And that's my answer. Okay? So now, next example, I have 4 over 8x minus 16. Well, I could factor out what in my denominator? An 8. And that leaves me with x minus 2. Okay? Now what can I simplify? For an 8 gives me 1/2, right? So now it's 1 over 2 times x minus 2. Okay, you want to leave it in factored form. So now I have 40x plus 20 over 10x plus 30. What can I factor out in my numerator? A 20. And that leaves me with what? 2x plus 1. And then my denominator, I can take out 10. And that leaves me with x plus 3. Okay, and then I can simplify. What's 20 over 10? 2 over 1. So this is just going to leave me with 2 times 2x plus 1 over x plus 3. We good? Okay, so next example, what can I factor out? For x. Okay, so I have a 4 that can be factored, and then x squared and x, I can take out an x. So that leaves me with x plus 2. Okay, then in my denominator, what can I take out? And that leaves me with x plus 2. So I can completely take out that x plus 2 because that same binomial is in the numerator and denominator. Okay, and I can take out x and x. Okay, and then what is 4 over 6 simplify to? 2 over 3. So all I'm left with is 2 over 3. Okay. Okay, when I look at my next example, I have a negative x squared plus 2x plus 15. Anytime I start with a negative, what should I be doing? Taking that negative out as my GCF. So even though I don't have a numerical GCF, I'm going to take out that negative, and that's going to leave me with x squared minus 2x minus 15. Okay, and then x squared minus 9, some of y'all are not recognizing difference of two squares. That is one of your key things in factoring. So x squared minus 9, I can automatically factor that x plus 3, x minus 3. Okay, now I also need to factor my numerator, but I could at least do that in that step. So my numerator, when I factor x squared minus 2x minus 15, what are my factors of 15 that would give me a 2? 3 and 5. I've got 1 and 15, 3 and 5. Okay? Which one's going to be positive? Which one's going to be negative? 5 is going to be negative. So x plus 3 and x minus 5 all over x plus 3, x minus 3. And then what happens? X plus 3 cancels, and I've got a negative x minus 5 in parentheses over x minus 3.
Where does the negative in front of the x minus 5 come from?
So this leading coefficient, bless you, is negative. You want to factor out that negative GCF to get these in the proper form, because you always want to factor a positive x squared. You don't want to do a negative, because that really actually messes up with your signs. Okay, so x minus 1 over x squared minus 3x plus 2. I can factor, bless you, my denominator. Factors of 2 that give me a 3 are my only factors, x minus 1, x minus 2. So then I can cross out x minus 1. Okay, nothing is in my numerator anymore. I'm going to put a 1. And then that x minus 2, you don't have to put it in parentheses, but that x minus 2 stays in your denominator. Okay, so if that crosses, think about what's 3 divided by 3. That's 1, not 0. So x minus 1 over x minus 1 is still just a 1. Okay.
Even though x squared minus 9 is factored, why is it in parentheses, but x minus 5 is just semantics, or?
This is in parentheses because you have that negative out front. If you wanted to make it a negative x plus 5 over x minus 3, you could have. I just don't. I'm not going to count off either way, but I will count off if you have a negative x minus 5, because that's not correct. But I'm good with either one of these. Any other questions? Okay. So x squared minus 2x minus 8 will factor into what? X minus 4, x plus 2. Then x squared minus x minus 6 is going to factor into x minus 3, x plus 2. X plus 2 cancels. And I have my x minus 4, x minus 3. Okay? Now I know I'm going fast with the factoring, but you should be able to factor these. These are easy factoring problems. Okay? So now when we go to multiply, you're still trying to factor whatever you can first. I am factoring first step and simplifying. So when you simplify, there might be times where you can either simplify and cross out vertically, or you can cross simplify, so diagonally. But you can never horizontally simplify because that's just multiplication. Okay? So remember, you can go up and down, you can go diagonally, but not horizontally when you cross stuff out. Okay? So this first one is already in factored form, so we just need to see what happens with my factors and what can I cross out. Well, I've got an x minus 5 and x minus 5 in the top and bottom, so that can cross out. And then I have an x plus 1 and an x plus 1 in the second fraction. That is my cross simplifying. Okay, I can cross those two out because it's top and bottom. So now all that's left to multiply, all I have is this 1. So I have my 1 and all I have left is the x plus 2. You don't have to make it harder than what it is. Okay? Now that's already simplified form. Rarely will you have that. Okay? You need to be able to start like these and be able to factor it and then cross out. So I have 2x squared minus 10x over x squared minus 25 times x plus 3 over 2x squared. So this numerator, 2x squared minus 10x, what can I factor out? 2x. And that leaves me with x minus 5. And then my denominator, x squared minus 25, what does that factor to? Times x plus 3, 2x squared. So what can I cross out? X minus 5 and x minus 5. I can cross simplify the 2's. Then I have an x and an x squared. So I can do what I did in that first example. X will knock out that squared, and I'm just left with x. So then all I have in my numerator is x plus 3. In my denominator, I've got this x plus 5, and I still have an x, so I'm going to write x times x plus 5. So we want to leave it in factored form. You don't have to multiply that back out. Okay, y'all good with that? Okay. Now, I've got 3x minus 3x squared over x squared plus 4x minus 5 times x squared plus x minus 20 over 3x. Now, this is not written in standard form. If it was written in standard form, it would be negative 3x squared plus 3x. So make sure it's in standard form before you start factoring. So now, when I go and factor this, I need to factor out what? A negative 3x. And then that will leave me with x minus 1. So if you ever have a leading negative, you want to take that out as your GCF. And then x squared plus 4x minus 5 is going to give me x plus 5, x minus 1, times x squared plus x minus 20 will factor into what? What factors of 20 will give me a 1? Five and 4. So I want a positive, so that's going to be x plus 5, x minus 4 over 3x. And then I cancel stuff out. So x minus 1 and x minus 1. What else can I cancel out? X plus 5 and x plus 5. And then 3x and 3x. Now I still have this negative though. Okay, so don't forget that when you put your answer together. So I've got a negative x minus 4 in parentheses. Do I have a denominator? No. So it's just that. We good with that? Okay. Am I going too fast? I'm trying to go to where y'all have time to do something after the notes. Alright, x plus 2 over x cubed minus 27 times x squared plus 3x plus 9 over 2x plus 4. Okay, x plus 2 I can't do anything with. Now you might not remember it, but x cubed minus 27 is the difference of 2 cubes. Okay? So that formula, when you have a cubed minus b cubed, that factors, you take the square root of your first one to give you a, keep the sign, not the square root, cube root. Cube root of your first one, cube root of your second one to give your b. Okay, then we use these numbers, or whatever it is. So I would take a and square it, then change my sign. I would multiply a times b, and then I take a plus b squared. It's always going to be plus because anything squared is positive. Okay, so doing that with actual terms. X cubed, the cube root of x cubed is just x. Cube root of 27 is 3. I keep the minus. Then I take x and square it, so x squared. Change my sign. I multiply 3 times x, so that's 3x, plus 3 squared is 9. And then times x squared plus 3x plus 9 over 2x plus 4. What can I take out? 2, and that leaves me with x plus 2. Okay, I can factor out x plus 2, x plus 2. What else could I take out? Yeah, that entire trinomial I can cross out. Okay, do I have anything in my numerator? No, so that's just a 1. What's in my denominator? So 2 times x minus 3 in parentheses. This, the cube root of 27. So since it's a cube, you're going to do the cube root of it. Just like the difference of 2 squares, you take the square root. So in this example, square root of 25 gave me my 5. So if it's x cubed, you're going to do the cube root. Alright, so dividing. Can we divide by fractions? No. What do we do instead of dividing by a fraction? We multiply by the reciprocal. So your keep, change, flip is what we're doing. So really it's just continuing multiplication. Alright? Now what I do is I will factor and flip all in one step. If you can't handle that, then factor all the way across, then rewrite it, but flip the second. I think y'all are all capable of factoring and flipping in the same step. Okay? So, if I have 7x over 2x minus 10, I'm going to have 7x over, what do I take out? A 2, and that leaves me with x minus 5. Now I got a division. I'm going to change that to multiplication, and then I'm flipping these two. So I'm actually going to factor x squared minus 11x plus 30 and put that in my numerator. Okay, so factors of 30, 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10, 5 and 6. What's going to give me 11? 5 and 6. So that's going to become x minus 5, x minus 6. And then this x squared minus 6x will go on the bottom. I can factor out an x, and that leaves me with x minus 6. Now I start canceling. X minus 5, x minus 5, x minus 6, x minus 6, and what else? X and x. So my answer is just are we okay with that? Okay. X squared plus 2x minus 8 will factors of 8 are 1 and 8, 2 and 4. So it's going to be x plus 4, x minus 2. Factors of 3 to give me 4. x plus 1, x plus 3. Then I'm going to change the division to multiplication, and I'm going to flip my second fraction. So 3x plus 3, I can take out a 3, and that leaves me with x plus 1. And then x minus 2 goes on the bottom. So what do I factor? What do I cancel out? Okay, so I have 3 and an x plus 4. So 3 times x plus 4 in parentheses over x plus 3. Alright, next one. I've got to do some work in order to factor this numerator. So I've got a coefficient. What do I do with that? Multiply first times last. So 6 times 15 is going to give me 90. Okay, factors of 90 to give you a 1. Nine and 10. Which one's going to be positive? The 10, the largest factor. Okay, so 9 is going to be negative. And then what do I need to do? Divide by 6 and simplify. So negative 9 over 6 can be divisible by 3, so negative 3 over 2. And then bottom takes the x. 10 over 6 is 5 over 3. Bottom takes the x. So that factors to 2x minus 3 times 3x plus 5 over 4x squared. Then I'm going to change it to multiplication. That x is now on the top. And 3x squared plus 5x, what can I do with that? Factor out an x, and that leaves me with 3x plus 5. Because I flipped those. Okay? So, what can cancel? So, now all I have is 2x minus 3 over 4x squared. Do we have questions? Okay, this will be what you have a quiz over. Okay, so we will have a quiz Friday. Okay?